Hill News Network.
Good morning, good morning, good morning. We're back, and guess what? We have a guest with us this morning. And if you are listening to us, you can also go to our YouTube channel and see us live and direct. SBR Live FM YouTube channel. We have with us this morning ACHLAI Ernest Wallace. Welcome.
Thank you.
And we have with us Brother Claremont Humphrey. Welcome.
Thank you.
He's wondering what I'm doing. Okay, so let's just say a little bit that we've known about ACHLAI. ACHLAI Ernest Wallace, MA, is a clinically trained psychotherapist registered with the College of Registered Psychotherapists of Ontario, Canada, and is experienced in providing individual psychotherapy, marital therapy, as well as group out counseling with a focus on anxiety, trauma, grief, and loss, social isolation, workplace stress, among other emotional and mental hardships. ACHLAI has been working in counseling since 2018 and is the co-founder with her husband Kenneth Wallace of the Wallace and Wallace Healing Center, a center which focuses on pursuing wellness through counseling, psychotherapy, and aromatherapy. After having spent a decade in North Carolina, USA, she and her husband, Kenneth Wallace, currently make their home with their delightful 8-year-old daughter, Haditha, in London, Ontario, Canada. Through counseling, psychotherapy, and aromatherapy. After having spent
ACHLAI is also the executive director of the International Women's Ministry Network, a non-profit organization whose vision is to see women healed from emotional pain and restored to wholeness by the power and love of Christ in a solid and caring network to which they can belong to and grow in their leadership. We are made whole to lead. The IWMN invites all women to their biannual conference, which will take place on November 10th to 11th, 2023.
her spare time, ACHLAI directs the London Kids Community Gospel Choir, which was founded in 2022 for children aged 7 to 17, with the mission to create a space where children of African descent as well as other children can learn to sing melodies and harmonies in traditional and contemporary gospel music genre. Being in a space where Black gospel music is centered allows children to experience the cultural beauty of the intricacies of harmonies, as well as develop spiritual and develop relationships with children of a wide age range. Welcome again. We're glad
Thank
to have
you.
you this morning. Um, you know, I'm just gonna hit to the bottom. You have spare time?
I like to think we all have spare times. Just when do we choose
I
to do
know
it?
how
Decide
you.
that we.
I read this. I'm like, oh my goodness, she has spare time, but that's okay. Um,
It's a
so
woman thing, right? You start to think about it. What time of the day did you find? You have all these things doing, the husband, the children, the child, da 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 da. What spare time do you have? So, yeah, we were talking about it. What time do you find,
Yeah. Oh, it's a real question.
Yeah. How do
Oh,
you find the time?
well, I really do believe. I was told many years ago by a longtime mentor that people have time and money for what people want to have time and money for.
Mm-hmm.
And I know there's sometimes a little bit of hardship with that. But by and large, at least in North America, I do think it's most of the time true. And so on Saturdays, I get to choose my time. I'm fortunate enough to get to work for myself, and so I get to choose my hours. And so I make sure I carve time out for my daughter and children.
Nice.
that is awesome. That is awesome. Listen, give us a little bit more about. We just want to touch real quick in all the things that the pies that you have your hands in. Tell us a little bit about your business that you have.
Sure. So the Wallace and Wallace Healing Center is a practice where I practice my privately as a psychotherapist. I'm a registered psychotherapist with a College of Registered Psychotherapists of Ontario, and as a registered psychotherapist, I'm licensed to work with the population on a number of things, such as I mentioned some things such as anxiety, depression. I also work with couples, particularly Christian couples like to come see me because I am a Christian therapist, and so I work with couples who are who have trouble in their marriage or in their relationship and help them find solutions that work for them to have a better life and enjoy their relationships.
That's awesome. Listen, I want to step back to 2020 there when we had, I mean, was there an overflow in that area? Because a lot of people from being locked down and everything, there's a lot of results in anxiety and
Oh
depression.
yeah,
So I suppose that that kept you busy.
oh yeah. The pandemic definitely we saw a big influx of people coming in. Uh, Also, interestingly enough, after now that we're completely out of, there's still precautions being taken, but after sort of the big pandemic moments, people actually also have trouble on the other side, social anxiety, afraid
Mm,
to leave their homes, afraid to go to work, afraid to go to church. So I've seen now more of that, where I'm
right.
helping clients overcome their social anxiety. And it's
Mhm.
real. They to go to the grocery store, you still have to live. There are
Right.
people who are afraid to live afterwards. So definitely
Yeah.
see that, even till this day.
It's interesting because human beings are social beings, and to see the switch from them being social beings to having this anxiety of being around people. I walked into a store the other day and I wasn't even aware that I was close to this young man standing next to me. And I turned and he jumped so far. I think he was doing long jump. And I looked, I'm like, what's going on? Oh, you're too close. You're too close. I was like, what? I'm too close? What are you talking about? But I recognize that as you're talking social anxiety, people have developed this kind of stuff through the last 2 years. What do you think that would be, apart we know from the lockdown, but what would you think would trigger something like that? Was it always there or something trigger that?
Right.
I do think the lockdown was pretty significant. I mean, I don't think, at least in certainly not my lifetime, I'm not enormously old, but in the last 50 years anyway, I'm not 50 either. I don't think we've seen something quite like that. Okay.
Mm.
And so I think when you have an experience, it's almost like a social phenomenon. The entire world shut down for at least some time. And different countries had different varying ways of dealing with it, but essentially the world shut down. And so I do think what it did inside of people was create a lot of fear, and in some places, rightfully so, where the death toll really did rise incredibly. And so I think that that I want to call it a phenomena. This momentous situation really did a number on people's minds, hearts, and even the brain. So I do think that coming out of it, people are still, some folks, like the young man that did a long jump away from you, Claremont,
Mm.
he must probably still be dealing with the after effects of that situation.
Wow.
That's real. I
It's
mean, you
real.
and I, Claremont, and even yourself, Clay, we may not respond in certain ways after all this, during and after, but the people that have, it's real.
Oh,
It's
yes.
really real. So, I mean, like Claremont said, he looked at the person like, I can tell
What's
his
wrong
face
with
was
you?
probably, what's wrong with you? I
Yeah.
can tell that look came
Yeah.
on him
Yeah. Yeah.
because you're not
Yeah.
in that category.
Yeah.
So,
You
I
know,
mean,
even though you're saying that, for me, the last 2 years helped me to get into, or or should I say, pushed me into a space though where I I don't like going out much, not because I have any kind of social anxiety situation. I just find I'm too tired. I'm too. What am I going there for? I prefer to stay in my home, right? So, but part of me keeps saying, "Hey, you got to go out because people may soon start thinking you having social anxiety. You just don't want to be among people." The point,
Interesting.
but the thing is that it's just that I'm saying I start to analyze why am I going there? What's the purpose of me going there? What am I going to get? What is it going to do for me in terms of
Mm.
making me feel fulfilled or whatever the case is? So I go through this process of thinking. When I was younger, I went everywhere. Now that I'm older, and yes, I'm past 50. So
I'm sorry, did I come out wrong? I'm sorry.
no, no, no. But I'm trying to tell you. So the age you kind of start to look at life differently. I prefer to
Okay.
sit in a place where there's a lot of flowers and plants and that kind of stuff, and enjoy the scene, enjoy the animals, enjoy the birds. That's me. I'll you say let's go there. I'll fast to go there. So
Mm.
and because of my working schedule again, um, the time I waste to walk around, I which is better, stay home and get some rest, or drive to go somewhere for something? Are you going to be fulfilled at the end of the day?
Right.
It's not necessarily for me social anxiety. It's just that I value my time a little bit differently.
Absolutely.
Yeah. But
Absolutely.
again, as I said, people may look at it as social
Mhm.
anxiety. You don't want to be among people. You don't want to mix with people. But
Oh, right.
I'm better. I'm better off, this way. No, there's some people that I don't want to be stressed. Stressed about. Some people do drain you, so you just don't want to find yourself around that
Love
kind.
them at a
Absolutely.
distance.
Yeah, so
Love them at
love
a
from a distance.
distance.
You see, so that's not. Listen, I want to go to something. We want to switch a little bit here
Hmm.
to go to talk about what's actually happening this weekend. Now,
Yes.
apart from all that you're doing, you started this choir. Why?
Mm.
Yeah, so I get that a lot lately. Like, why did you start this and how did you start this? But I so the main reason at the beginning, I started because my daughter, I have an 8-year-old daughter, as you mentioned,
Mm-hmm.
and she's a singer. She sings. We've been working with her as singing since she was like 3 years old. She's,
Mm.
has done a video. For those who are following, go to Hattie Sings on YouTube. You can follow her, watch her video. She did a professional video last summer, and so I'm very proud of her. I work with her a lot, but I also wanted to be singing with other children, and I wanted her to be singing in a context where it could where music that is from either Caribbean background or African American background, because that's her two cultures. Where our family's African American and Haitian Canadian, we blend those things together, and it was really important to me, as well as Indigenous cultures as part of our family's cultural makeup, and I wanted her to be in some type of cultural environment for singing. Couldn't find it in London. I couldn't find a single choir that seemed to embrace what I just described. And so I honestly felt just God say to me, "You started."
Right.
And I thought, gosh, I didn't come here to create waves. I came here to have a peaceful life and do my thing. And I just felt like you're just gonna just that's it. You're just gonna let her not have this experience. And I thought about other kids that could benefit from this experience as well, like in our home church and other kids in the community. I thought, you know what? Because I do have a background, I have been singing my entire life. I'm a piano teacher. I didn't write that in the bio, but I do teach piano.
Wow.
Um, I've been singing gospel music my entire life, and I thought, and also have done choirs for years in colleges in the U.S. and in Montreal. And I thought this would be a no-brainer for you. Just do it. And I thought I was really very schedule. So I actually waited a year because at the time I really couldn't do it with what I was already doing and committed to. But then things opened up. I stopped working my two jobs, and I thought I have time now. Yeah, if I want the time to do it, and so that's how it started. And we started fall 2022.
S-
Nice.
Fall of
We started
22.
with 5 kids,
Uh huh.
now 7 children, and it swelled up to 17. Well, some kids drop off a little bit, but
I'm gonna
we
Mm-hmm.
started
say.
with 5 to 7 children,
Mm-hmm.
and now
Mhm.
we're up to 15 to 17 kids
Wow. That's
in the gospel
amazing.
choir.
Wow.
Yeah,
See, you never know what you're gonna create until you create it, right?
Exactly.
you got to
And
go for
who's
it.
gonna benefit? Who's gonna benefit? Like this that
Right.
I'm doing was never in my scope of thought. And here I am.
Here
Here
you
I
are.
am.
Well, we pulled her in. We pulled her in, and she's here. But as you said, you're a piano teacher. So are you still doing that?
So I am a piano teacher, but I'm not active right now as a piano teacher
Hmm.
because I do have to put limits. I do have
I was wondering.
limitations.
Oh,
I
you
was
do?
wondering.
Okay.
I do, I do.
Thanks for clarifying.
uh, I was wondering. Like,
I do have limits, and we're
okay.
not doing piano right now. And yeah, no, not right now. We're focusing on the things we're focusing on. But you mentioned this weekend,
Hmm.
and this weekend is our year end, so our rather end of season, a culmination of all the work we've done throughout the year with these kids. And so we are having an amazing end of season concert this Sunday,
Awesome.
happening June 11th, 6 p.m.
What is it like? I know it's difficult enough to work with adults, but what is it like working with children who can become fidgety at times?
Well, I can be pretty no nonsense. As much as I love to have fun and laugh, I number one, the kids who are there want to be there. You know, it's a
Hmm.
Saturday afternoon. We rehearse from 1 to 3 p.m.
Right.
and the parents have to sign them up. It is, they're not. It's actually free. So right now, there's no charge to be a part of the choir, and it really is. Do you want to be here? Do you like to sing? This is something you like to do, and the people who come, the children who are there, want to be there. They love to sing. They love gospel music. They love learning harmonies, and we do auditions at the beginning. They're not like heavy auditions in the sense of like, oh, you sound terrible, leave. But honestly, if it's not the right fit, um,
Right.
you know, we children out who just want to play or want to be fidgety. I can usually tell in the first couple of rehearsals who they're going to be,
Right.
and then I have maybe a side conversation with mom and dad and say this might not be the best fit for your child because the other kids who are here are actually serious about singing, and so we have a 2 hour rehearsal each Saturday. They know the expectations. We have breaks, they have snacks. However, they're there to sing and to focus. And when they kind of get off track, I have no problem bringing them back.
I
The
happened for the
redirection.
very first time. I saw them about a month ago singing, and one of the things that I actually posted on my Instagram was the harmonies that you have, and you'll find that you have this huge choir like about 50 children or probably 30 children or something like that, or even 20, and you kind of split them up and you get this beautiful harmony. But you had like about 10 of them there or less than that, and the harmonies
10,
that,
yeah.
that was coming out of them, I'm thinking, wow. I was like amazed because normally when you hear children's choir, you don't get this kind of dynamics of the harmony. They were like doing it like adults. Let's put it that way. That's what I want to say. They were doing it like adults, and I was pretty impressed about that. How was that? How was it getting them to that stage? What was it like working them to that stage? Is it difficult? Um is there a bit of tedious times having to get them
Mm.
hearing the different notes?
Yeah, so that's a good question. I think so. I have different methods of teaching singing, and one of the best ways, and it probably comes to my mother. I have to definitely give honor to my mom because she was the one that started singing when we were kids. When I was a child,
Mm.
it's my siblings. We were the Ernest family singers, and we would sing since we were children up until adolescence. But one of the methods we use, she would use, is really singing something. Say, sing exactly what you heard me sing. Sing exactly what you heard me sing, line by line. I think sometimes people hope kids will catch on,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm sure there's so many methods in the world on how to do this. So I'm not claiming mine is the best one or the only one, but it's the one that I know and the one that works,
Mm-hmm.
which is I sing line by line, very short amounts, and I sing what I want them to sing back to me.
Mm-hmm.
And so if I'm
Mm.
singing kind of like, you know, my life is in your hands. I don't want to hear my life is in your hands, and that's what they naturally want to do. So when I hear that, I say, no, what did I do? And then they can try to copy me. So then they'll
Right.
go, my life is in your hands. And then they do
Mm.
what they hear me do. And so that's how I get them to sing that way because I don't want them singing like little mouses. They can go do that with Twinkle, Twinkle, Little Star at VBS. But this is an actual
Yeah, I hear
choir
you.
that I want people to take
Right,
seriously
right, right, right.
and
Right.
for them to take themselves seriously. And so they still sound like children. I mean, their voices don't magically become adult voices,
Right.
Right.
but they
Right.
can do what we can do if they hear it and if we're patient enough. And so I am quite patient. Um, And I do know that to learn a song properly takes probably about 1 hour. So sometimes at the beginning
Mm.
rehearsals, we might do 2, 3 songs max, but they know them well
Mm-hmm.
and they know their parts well.
Mm-hmm.
And so patience is a virtue. Patience is a must. If you're in a rush, don't join kids anything because
Right.
children take time. And also the way you teach them. If you sound a little bit, annoyed or for, just kind of like overwhelmed, they pick that up. They'll pick up the overwhelm. So being calm
Mm-hmm.
and patient, saying, "Oh, it's okay. We're gonna go ahead and do this song. There's no rush. The
Right.
time is here for us to use." And so that's my approach. That's my approach.
So, because okay, so you have them, as you said, you have them singing over and over, but there's the part where, because there's some children who can't for some reason they don't hear harmonies at all,
That's
and
true.
as soon as you start to train them the harmonic side of the song, and somebody else started to sing, they automatically switch to that individual. How do you get
Yes,
them
that
to?
happens.
How do you get them to stay in their lane, so
Oral
to
them.
speak?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so it's also practice. They're learning to train their ears. They're very young.
Mm-hmm.
Some kids are 7 or 8, so they're not used to it. Part of it's the training. They're learning how to hear a part, stick to it. So part of that's repetition.
Mm-hmm.
And so at the beginning, I have to say that they've improved so much from fall 2022
Mm-hmm.
until now. The improvement is humongous in just how they have confidence in what they're hearing and trying to do it. So you're right. There are some children who they hear you go, they know their part, and the minute they hear another part, they're off to the other person's part.
Yeah.
So it's like, you're not a soprano, you're an alto. Why are you singing soprano? I heard them do it, but you got to stick to your own, like stick to your what you know. So part of it is, I thankfully there's a few of them each time,
Mm-hmm.
so that helps because there's sections. So even if I have let's see 2 of each section, we can make it work. If it's just one, unless they're very strong, like my daughter, she's been, like I said, trained since she's 3. She developed her own harmonies at age 5.
Mm-hmm.
I remember the first time we heard her singing harmonies, my husband and I were like, "Did you just hear Hattie?" And she just did it. I think she heard us singing all the time.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're around music a lot, you pick it up very easy.
Right.
Around gospel music, since you're a child, you'll pick it up like my daughter did.
Mm.
Some kids are coming in at age 10. They never sang gospel music before.
Right.
Those children have a bit of a harder time.
Yeah.
But again, I put them in sections and say, listen to your section. So sometimes at the beginning, I separate them more like sopranos over here, altos over here, alto twos or tenors over here. And so because they're in their own little section, they can hear each other better. And so until they get more used to it. Then they get used to it and they stop making that mistake of going to the other person's part. Now, there are some singers who are stronger than others. They got it. Other singers are weaker than others and they still kind of veer off. But because they're in their section keeps them like a good team so they don't veer off to the other part.
Gotcha.
That is awesome. That is awesome. Listen, as in line with that, just give us a little synopsis on the concert this weekend and where the proceeds will be going.
That's right. So I mentioned I'm Haitian Canadian. I'm also connected to a ministry called People's Church of God in Montreal. And that was founded by my parents, actually. My father was a pastor there for years. I served with him while he was alive for years in that church. But they also have missions to Haiti, where they started, I believe, 3 schools that are currently going, and also some churches. And so one of the schools, it's in the local little village in the western hemisphere of Haiti. It's called, the village is called Cousin. Cousin had that local school that my mother started in 2003. But recently there was a harsh climate. Haiti has been going. We don't have to go into the details of that,
Mm-hmm.
but
Right,
Haiti,
right.
has it can sometimes catch a break. Sometimes I say,
Mm,
feel like we can't catch a break, but there's things we can do. The
yeah.
roof of that school was tore off because of harsh climates in the last couple of months. So the proceeds from the concert on Saturday will go to building a roof a real roof. I think they had a tarp over there for a while. As you know, a tarp, that's nothing with harsh rains.
Right.
So we're very grateful that we were able to partner with Missions to Haiti and the London Kids Community Gospel Choir, so that all the proceeds that will be raised that day will go to replace that roof.
That's
Now, if
awesome.
if s- if folks want to join in with
Donate.
your effort and donate, how can they do that?
Yeah, so an Eventbrite where you can buy tickets for the concert. It's yeah, just put London Kids Community Gospel Choir in Eventbrite, it'll show up. And when you click on tickets, the donations option shows up. So if you can't come to the concert or you're not able to make it, once you go to the Eventbrite site where we are selling the tickets, you click on that and there's a donation tab. You click on the donation tab and that's how you can give at this time. As well, if because after the concert's over, that site will be closed. You can also go to www.pcgmmissionshaiti.org and you can always give through that way.
Repeat that again for me, please.
Sure. PCGM or PCGmissionshaiti.org.
You got that, Faty? Because I know you're writing it down.
Yeah.
You know what? I thought I saw it in here, so I was stop it.
Yeah,
I have to write everything, and I thought it was in somewhere on this
I
information
guess we
that
put
you
in the
sent.
chat, so if it's helpful.
Yeah, that would be helpful.
So that's another way to support is by going directly to the People's Church of God Missions website, and you can give that way as well.
Okay.
Awesome. Well, we have a surprise for you. Should I say I have a surprise for you because you probably didn't think I was going to do this. But you did mention your daughter, Haiti sings. Hattie sings. Sorry. Hattie sings. Yeah,
I know.
Yeah. Thank you for reminding me. Hattie sings. So we're going to close with Hattie singing out the end of this interview, and we want to thank you so much for spending the time with us and sharing.
Thank you for
again.
having me.
So once again, before we go, before
Yes.
you go, tell us again about the concert for this weekend, date, time, where.
Sure, absolutely. So for all our listeners watching, especially if you're in London, please make it a point to come. Sunday, June 11th at 6 p.m. The concert will be held at First St. Andrew's Church, United Church on the corner of Queens Avenue and Waterloo. 6 p.m. You can find tickets on Eventbrite for $10 in advance. At the door, same day, it is $15. So if you say, I'll just come, feel free to come. It's a little more expensive, but not so much more. And so it will be lovely and delighted to have you come. Looking forward to it. It's going to be a great time.
Awesome. Hattie, correct?
Awesome.
Am I right then?
Hattie.
Hattie, okay. Here is Hattie
yes.
as we close this interview with
ACHLAI.
No,
we had a prayer. We really. ACHLAI. And it was
so sorry.
awesome having you with us.
Yeah, thank you so much.
I appreciate being here today with you all.
Not a problem.
The mystery of the cross I cannot comprehend. The agonies of Calvary. You're the perfect Holy One. The mystery of the cross I cannot comprehend. The agonies of Calvary. You're the perfect Holy One. Brought your Son and drank the bitter cup reserved for me. Your blood has washed away my sin. Jesus, thank you. Father's wrath completely satisfied. Jesus, thank you. Once your enemy, now seated at your table. Jesus, thank you. perfect sacrifice, I have been brought near. Your enemy you made your friend, pouring out the riches of your glorious grace. Your mercy and your kindness knows no end. Your blood has washed away my sin. Jesus, thank you. The Father's wrath completely satisfied. Jesus, thank you. Once your enemy, now seated at your table. Jesus, thank you. Lover of my soul, I want to live for you. Lover of my soul, I want to live for you. Lover of my soul, I want to live for you. Lover of my soul, I want to live for you. I want to live. Your blood has washed away my sin. Jesus, thank you. The Father's wrath completely satisfied. Jesus, thank you. Once your enemy, now seated at your table. Jesus, thank you. Jesus, thank you. Jesus, thank you. Jesus, thank you.
She learned to sing the minute she learned to speak, right?
A little bit.
Oh my word, that is awesome.
Thank you.
Awesome job. Awesome job. What are you
I
gonna
forgot
do
to
with
tell you.
that?
Oh,
Mhm.
sorry, go ahead.
Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I was
Yes, that's
gonna.
a question.
No, I was gonna ask Claremont what he had to say, but he can hold for a second. Go ahead.
No, I was going to say, I didn't even mention this, but today's actually my wedding anniversary.
Oh,
So
happy
I
anniversary
was,
to you.
Anniversary. Wow.
yeah,
Oh
I was
my
like, I
God.
just say that. Yeah.
How many years?
Kenny and I are married today, 16 years.
Oh, happy
Oh,
anniversary to you, man.
well, you guys have a blessed rest of the day. Enjoy,
Yeah.
enjoy, and we appreciate you sharing yourself on your anniversary with us.
Oh, yeah. So he said that was fine. I said, oh, it's in a nice. I said, that's okay. Go ahead.
It's a good thing he had a good experience with Claremont. He's okay to let you
Oh,
go on
yeah.
this one, right?
Absolutely. I appreciate Claremont a lot. Yeah.
Well, we want to thank you once again for being with us, and we hopefully see you on
On
Sunday.
Sunday. Yeah, you'll be coming, right?
I'm not saying. Look at her face.
Are
Yes,
we, are we still on the radio or we're not on the radio anymore?
okay. I'll be coming. We'll talk off air because I need to finalize some stuff with you.
We're
But
on the air right now.
we're on the air right now.
Yes.
Yes, we are.
Oh, hi, everybody. Oh, okay.
That's okay. We'll
You
talk
don't
like
get you.
we will. I should be there on Sunday, but we'll talk offline. I want to finalize some things with you. This is the Praise Life Morning Show, SBRLiveFM.com. We had just had our interview there with ACHLAI. Am I pronouncing ACHLAI? ACHLAI. Oh my goodness, I'm